Today we are going to show you how to get those crispy vocals in Logic Pro X like you hear on the radio. This is especially good if you have a mix ready or if you have a 2-track instrumental, you recorded some vocals and you just want the vocals to cut through the mix that slight bit more and give it that radio sheen. So let's hop into Logic Pro X and see how that is done. All right, so let's listen to this. Now, this would be your instrumental 2-track. I put everything to a bus. This is usually good when you want to process the whole instrumental together. And then I have all my vocals that are going into this vocal chain right here. So let's play this and see what it's doing.
Dime qué lo que pasa, vente pa mi casa, yo te espero sin nada. Dime qué lo que pasa.
All right, and what we're doing right here is pretty much ducking any frequencies that are masking the instrumental and the vocal together, or that are being masked by the instrumental and the vocal together, and we're ducking them dynamically. So let's do this. What we're going to do is we have the vocal EQ, everything is done right here. We're just going to take off the instrumental Pro Q3 and let's add that Pro Q3 again in the instrumental bus. Next thing what we're going to do is we're going to choose our vocal bus, which is bus 1 right here. And then if you go down here under Analyzer in Fab Filter, you're going to see this red thing that's going to show all the frequencies that are clashing. So let's just play that and see it.
Dime qué lo que pasa, vente pa mi casa, yo te espero sin nada. Dime qué lo que pasa.
All right, so you're seeing all these red frequencies. Those were the ones that were clashing. Now what we're going to use is something called EQ match, and then we're going to do a few techniques to this. So we're going to do EQ match. We're going to choose external sidechain, which we've chose right here. And then what we're going to do is hit record and play.
Dime qué lo que pasa.
All right, now that this is done, we're just going to do match, and we're going to make sure it is the highest amount right here and hit finish. If your instrumental and vocals are already processed, it's likely that you already have your low end sorted out. So we're going to go and select all these low end notes and hit X. Now, initially, you want to change this to 30 dBs because when it does auto match EQ, it's going to put things that are way above or way below. Again, there's something in the low end, so I'm just going to select that and delete this. Now, next thing we're going to do is select everything and just turn the gain slightly low, and then we will go back to 6 dB. Again, that's a bit too high, so let's do 12 right now. All right, so what we want to happen now is every time the vocal comes in, we want that to reduce certain frequencies on the instrumental dynamically, so that way the vocal has a room to breathe, and when the vocal is not there, the instrumental is going to kick back in. What we're going to do is right now, delete all the frequencies that are under 0. So we're going to select all that and hit X. Boom. These are the frequencies that it's saying that are being masked by the vocal, and they need to kind of match the vocal, right? So pretty much that's where the vocals are more prominent. So what we're going to do is just going to reduce that and dynamically change the volume every time the vocal comes in. So what we're going to do is just reduce it slightly. You can actually make them all go to 0 and right click and hit make dynamic. So now what we're going to do is hit the auto, click the wrench, and now this is the level that's going to make the instrumental change dynamically. So let's play with these levels. Again, let's make the dynamic go down, and then let's reduce these just a smidge and then play with the threshold.
Dime qué lo que pasa, vente pa mi casa, yo te espero sin nada. Dime qué lo que pasa, yo quiero desacatarme contigo, papi, perder el control contigo, papi. Dime, yo te digo, papi, ay papi, ay papi. Dime qué lo que pasa.
All right, I'm going to change the Q a little bit because a lot of these are a bit too wide and we don't want to take the body or the soul away from the instrumental. So again, the more you're going to go to the right, the narrower it's going to get. So let's just start with narrow and then broaden them up.
Dime qué lo que pasa, vente pa mi casa, yo te espero sin nada. Dime qué lo que pasa, yo quiero desacatarme contigo, papi, perder el control contigo.
All right, so now those frequencies are being reduced. Again, I usually like going to 3 dB because you really don't need that much. You just need very minor changes. So again, go to 3 dB, and these changes should be very, very minor. You should not be changing it so much. So even dynamically, we're just going to go a few dBs, go back to 3 dB, then
Dime qué es lo que pasa. Bebé, vente pa' mi casa. Yo te espero sin nada.
All right, let's do it without.
Dime qué es lo que pasa. Bebé, vente pa' mi casa.
And now let's do it with.
Dime qué es lo que pasa. Bebé, vente pa' mi casa. Yo te espero sin nada. Dime qué es lo que pasa.
All right, so that is how you dynamically impact the frequency of the instrumental so the vocals stick through and cut through the mix. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm using FabFilters Pro Q3, but there are a bunch of different EQs that can do match EQ techniques. Logic has one that's built into it that you can use for this technique as well. As usual, keep making some dope music. I'll see you at the next one.